I'm going to be making I'm going to be making a tote bag with side. It's going to be a fine one, so it actually did not come with side, okay, but it's going to, like, the way it's going to come out, it's going to look as though it has side, okay. So just for beginners, so when I'm doing a live stream, it's merely for beginners, so it's beginner friendly. So let me just put my camera down so you can see everything I'm going to be doing. First of all, we are going to be talking about the measurement of this particular bag. So the width of it measures about 14.5 inches, okay. It measures 14.5 inches, okay, and the length measures about 23.5 inches, okay. If you can see it. So I've already cut out the ankara, and also I've attached my wording to it. So the wording is just about the size of the ankara, okay. This is the wording, and I just cut out these pieces so that you can understand the way I attach the wording. So if you've cut out your ankara print, assuming this is the ankara print you want to use, you are going to take the wrong side of the ankara print. You take the wording comes with two sides. There's this part that is shining, I don't know if you can see it, and this shining part is the one that has gum or glue on it. So this one that is not shining has nothing. So when you put this gum part on the wrong side of it, okay, and you take your iron, you just lay them on it. You make sure it's the same size with your ankara, so you can iron it in place, okay. You can iron it in place, and once you iron, it's going to stick to it. And if you don't have an iron, you can actually sew on it to hold it in place. That will make it thick, okay. So I've already done it here. I've ironed the wording to the ankara print, which is also known as African print, that I'm using, and I'm going to be using this one has the lining, okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to gum this, and I'm just going to lay the lining. Since I'm using this for the lining, I'm going to be laying the lining. Hope you can see. I'm going to be laying the lining to the ankara, the external. I'm using this one as the lining. So you lay the right side of the lining to the right side of the external, which has the wording gum to it already. So I'm just going to be pinning them together. So once we have pinned, what we are going to do, we are going to sew all around it, okay. I'm going to be sewing all around, and I will leave about 2 inches opening where we are going to be turning it inside out. This is a very new method that you have not seen before. You are going to like the back. So I'm just going to, if you have pins, you can pin rather. I'm going to be clipping. So just clip before you sew. The reason I'm clipping is for the ankara not to move against each other. So just pin quickly. So remember, we are going to be sewing. I will leave about 2 inches 2 inches opening where we are going to be turning our ankara inside out, okay. So I'm just going to sew now. I'm going to leave some space. I'm going to leave some space, 2 inches, don't forget. So I'm just going to sew all around it, leaving a space of about 2 inches because we are going to be turning it inside out. So you can sew with whatever inches. I'm sewing about with 2/4 of an inch. You can use half inch seam allowance if you want. So the line is a bit bigger than the external because I actually want it to be like that, okay. You can also cut your lining to be the same size with the external body, then depending on what you want. My own is a bit bigger, so I'm just going to sew around it. So that means means if you are a beginner learning how to make bag, you can start with wording. And if you have a very simple machine, you can start with wording. You don't have to use leather all the time. There are some wording that come thick. Sorry. There are some that come very thick. Okay. So if you want your bag to be kind of hard and sturdy, you can go for the thick ones. Okay. So this one is like it's not that thick, it's the light one. So if you want to get this wording, you go to where they say tailoring materials. There are different density and thickness. So I'm just going to leave some space. I'm not going to sew everything. Remember, we're going to be turning it inside out. So I will back stitch here. Then I will come to this other side because I'm leaving some space. I will leave like either 3 inches or 2 inches depending on the way you want it to be. I'm just going to leave about 3 inches. Then I'll start from here. I'm going to back stitch. I don't know, my machine is kind of giving problem right now. So I'll complete the stitch here. Okay. So just this is a very quick project and it's for beginners. Alright. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So remember the measurements at the beginning. We've talked about the measurements, which is 23.5 inches by 14.5 inches. It's a tote bag. It's going to have side, something that look like side actually. I'm not going to be putting inside, but by the time I sew it, you're going to see the way it's going to turn out. It's going to be looking as though it has sides on it. So it's a new pattern. I just saw it and I decided to make it for you guys. And it's beginner friendly. Beginner friendly. You don't need many things. You don't need a lot of things to make this bag. Very, very simple. So I'm basically turning it inside out through that opening that we left. So if you feel it's hard for you to turn out, you can leave about 4 inches. So I'm just going to do this, but quickly turn it inside out. Then once you've turned it inside out, I'm going to press it so that it lay flat. I want it to lay flat. So one that thing I didn't do, I actually forgot, you can notch it at the corners so that it can come out flat at the corners. You can notch it at the corners. So I didn't do that, sorry. I don't just want to bore you with many talks and activities. I just want this project to be very quick. So if you are doing yours, make sure you notch it, cut notch at the corner so that it lay flat at the corner. Okay. So once I've done it like this, I'm still trying to poke out the corners. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close this opening that we made. So I'm just folding this into this. I fold this into it. So I'm going to top stitch, but I'll pin them first. Then I will top stitch on the edge. So I'm just going to bring my thread out. So really, I'm going to be sewing around it. Okay, so just use the opportunity to sew everything. So this place is not well poked out, so I'm going to make sure it's well poked out. So we'll sew everything now. So but make sure this one is folded. Okay, make sure you are folding everything. So this is a very quick project that you can use. If you don't have bag, you can make it for yourself, and you can even use your simple machine to do it. So I'm just going to be sewing all around it. If you are not seeing it, let me know in the comment section. Let me try and push this machine this way so that I can see it. So what I'm basically doing, I'm stitching all around it or sewing all around it. It's a I promise you, it's a very simple project, especially for beginner. You are going to like how it's going to turn out. So please make sure you ask whatever question you are facing when it comes to bag making. Let's learn together. Let's learn together. So I told you that when you are doing your own, make sure you iron. So I'm not ironing. I don't want this project to be too boring. You know, this live stream. So you iron just to make it flat, so that it lays flat. But I'm not doing that, okay? The reason I'm not doing that is because I don't want the project to be too long and boring. So let's just quickly do it. So I'm just going to sew all around it. I'm just what I'm doing, the edge of my foot is on the edge of this place. That's what I'm following for the sewing. So you can use whatever seam allowance you want to use, guys. I'm just following the edge of the matching foot, ensuring that it's at the edge of what I'm sewing. Okay. So before you turn your bag inside out, as I said, make sure you notch it at the corner. That will make the bag to lay flat. We make the bag to lay flat. Don't know. So I'm still sewing. Please ask whatever question you want to ask. Let me know. I'm going to ask her your question. I've already said that you should ask questions when I'm live streaming. I will want to answer all your questions, especially when I'm live streaming. But at any other time, I won't have the opportunity to answer your questions. So let's learn together. So I'm almost getting done. Sewing it around. It's a very simple project. Trust me, guys. It's a very simple project. So the edge of my machine is on the edge of what I'm sewing. So we are almost through. I'm just going to back stitch here. Yeah. Then I will cut, trying to get my scissors. Okay, so you can burn off this thread to get neat work. I'm just going to burn. So the next thing I'm going to do, guys, okay, take note of this. This is a very important step. The next thing, I'm just going to take my tape here. I'm going to be getting about 2.5 inches. I'll take my chalk. I'm going to be measuring at 2.5 along this line, the length, and also along this line. It's a very simple project. Please don't go away yet. Let's do this together. So I'm just going to take 2.5 inches along the length. I'm taking 2.5 inches. So this bag is going to be having it's going to have side. I'm not going to be attaching side, but by the time I finish sewing it, it's going to look like something that have sides on it. So that's just the idea of this bag. Though it's a tote bag, a quick tote bag that you can use for shopping. And I'm also doing it for the beginners here on my channel. If you're a beginner, you're just learning how to make bag, you can start with this. It's a very simple project with your simple machine. So I'm just going to mark along this line. I'm taking 2.5 from each of the edges. Okay. So I'm just going to get my ruler. Okay. I get my ruler. So I'm going to connect. So I'm going to connect these lines now. Trying to connect the line, sorry. So once I've connected the lines like this, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it. Guys, take note of what I'm doing. I'm going to fold it. We are going to be top stitching on this line. We are going to be top stitching on this line. Okay, so you can iron or you can just clip it. Okay, better. So I'll just top stitch right now. So top stitch on this. So I'll back stitch first. So what I'm doing, so I want it to have something like side. You can see, you see what I'm doing. Like, it's going to be very fine, guys. It's a quick way of making a tote bag that seems to have side. Yes, that's the word. It will appear to have side without you attaching side to it. So my matching foot is just following the edge of the mark, that marked area. Then I'll back stitch. Then I'm going to cut off the thread, cut it off. I'll burn the thread, burn this thread, cut this off. Don't go away yet to invite more people to always come to my live stream. Let's interact, okay? So I'll do the same here. I'll connect these marks, okay? Quickly connect them. I'm going to be top stitching on it. So I will bring out my thread. My thread, I want the thread to be long out so that it does not go in by the time I'm sewing. I'm just going to be folding it like this. Let's clip it because we are going to be top stitching on that line that we marked, the chalk mark. So I'm just going to be top stitching on it. So just the same way we did in the first process. So I'll just top stitch quickly. So I'll back stitch first to secure our work. Always make sure you back stitch at the beginning of your work and at the end of your work. That will secure your work. Okay. So for the thumbs up, thank you. For those of you watching, thank you. God bless you. Please invite other people to watch. I don't go yet. That will encourage me. When more people turn up to watch my live, it will actually encourage me, and I'm going to do more live. So always make sure you watch my live, and let's ask whatever question that is bothering you when it comes to bag making, and we'll put our hands together to answer and find solutions to them. So I'll back stitch. Okay. Just going to cut. So my thread is kind of coming out now. I'm quickly fix the thread into the needle. So to fix the thread, you know how to fix your thread. So I'll pass the thread through the needle hole here, the needle high. So I'll make sure the thread comes out very long so that by the time we are sewing, it doesn't go inside and not start having problem with sewing. Okay, I know it's not part of it. So we are almost getting there. I told you guys a very simple this thing, because once you've done this one, the next thing is going to be to fix the hand, and that's basically everything that we need about this bag. Very, very simple. So okay, so now we are going to be fixing the bag handle. Okay, I have one of the bag handle fixed already. I have one of it fixed already. So we are going to be talking about how to get the bag handle. So this one measures 90 inches. Okay, for the Ankara it measures 19 inches by 4 inches. Okay, and for the wording that is going to make the handle strong, it measures 2 inches by 19 inches. This one measure 4 by 19, while this one measure 2 inches by 19. I just remove 2 from this instead of 4. I used 2. I don't want it to be too strong. So what you are going to do, remember I said this one already has the gum part and the part that is not gummed. So the gummed part you are going to fix to the wrong side of your Ankara. Yeah, and I'm just quickly going to iron it in place. So this is the wrong side of my Ankara and this is the gum part. I'm just quickly going to iron it in place here. I'll plug my iron and I'll quickly iron it in place. Okay, just iron it so that I can stick to it. Then we are going to sew the handle. Iron is not that hot, so just make sure your iron is a bit hot. It will take time to gum, especially when the iron is not that hot. Okay, it's sticking now. It's going to take a bit of time. So once it goes down, it's going to be gone very well. So I'm just going to trim this excess one. You can see it has stick. It's gummed. So I'm just going to trim this excess out. So we are making the handle of this bag now. So I'm just going to remove those things here. So the next thing I'm going to do to get the handle, I'm going to be folding to the middle. So first of all, you fold this. You can iron if you want. So I'm going to fold the edge. Then I'm going to fold the edge of this to the middle. Just watch me. I'm going to be folding this edge to the middle like this. Okay. So just fold the edge to the middle. Okay. Then you fold again just to hide it. Are you see what I'm doing? So I'll clip. So what you can also do, you can iron them in place. Okay. So I don't have that time, or I wouldn't want to waste your time. So let's just quickly do it like this. It's a fast project, a fast and quick one. So you can also do this project and make money from it. You can make money, you can sew many of these bags and you make your cool cash from it. So I'm also folding the edge of this. Sorry for the noise. I'm also folding the edge of this. So I'll just fold the edges like this. Okay, make sure it's neatly fold. Make sure it's neatly fold. Sorry. So make sure. So the noise in the background. Sorry, there's some boys in my area making noise there. So I'll just fold. Sorry, trying to fold now. So I'm just going to sew along this line. See the way I sew this handle now? This is the handle. So I'm going to sew in the same manner along the lines now. So I'm just going to sew along the lines. So you back stitch first. As I said, always back stitch in the beginning of your work and in the head of your work. Okay? Always make sure you back stitch. Just sewing the handle now. So the machine foot, make sure it's at the edge of it. So we are basically top stitching. Just trying to hide. Okay, so this bag is a very quick an easy bag to do because this is live. So like, because it's live, I'm kind of making some bits of mistakes now. Do you understand? Because I'm in front of camera. So but it's a very simple, to be honest, a very simple bag to make. Okay, so I'm just going to sew on this edge. Remember, we are doing something like this. I've sewn, like, it's going to be, the sewing is going to be along the two edges. So the next edges is this, the next edge is this, which we are going to sew on now, down it. About to finish now. So then I'll turn, then back stitch, then that's all. A very quick project, especially for beginner. If you are a beginner and you are here, make sure you follow my lives. Most of the project I'm going to be doing are going to be for beginners. Always follow my live video, and you can ask any question. You are not asking any question now. I'll answer you when you ask. So I've sewn the two bag handles. Okay, so this is the bag. Let me quickly burn off. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing, guys, I'm going to be taking where the measurements of the handles are going to be. Okay, so from here to here, I'm going to be taking 2 inches. This place, from this place to this place, I'm going to be taking 2 inches. But before that, let's get the middle of this. So I'll fold it. To get the middle, I'm going to fold it into 2. I'm going to fold it into 2 like this because I want to get the middle. I'll take my chalk. This is the middle here. So I'll just mark the middle, which is this place here. Don't cut a notch, just mark it out. So from the middle, guys, from the middle, I'm going to be taking 2 inches from the middle in my paper. So I'll get 2 inches from the middle. Okay, or 2.5. Okay, let's make it 2.5. Okay, 2.5 will be better. I don't want it to be close to it, so I'll just take 2.5 inches. I'll mark. Then on this other side, I'm going to take 2.5 inches too. 2.5 inches. I'll mark. Okay, so I'll do the same here. I'll get the middle of this. Quickly get the middle, which is here, and fold into half to get the middle. Then from this mark, I'm just going to take 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches. Then I will mark this where we are going to be placing the handle. Then I'll take another 2.5. This is a very quick project, and I will mark. Then I will take the handle. I'm going to take the handle. I will place it. Okay, I'm going to be placing the handle on this mark. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be sewing a boss stitch on it, So this place, let me burn this thread off, then I will clip. So to know where you are going to be placing it, sorry, you measure about 1.5 inches from the top. Let's get that measurement, please. Let's get the measurement. 1.5 inches from the top. Remember, here to here is 2.5. From the middle to this place is 2.5. From the top is going to be 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. Hope you can see, guys. So it's going to be 1.5 inches. So I'll just quickly take the mark. So I'll make a cross mark there. Then I'll do the same here. I'll take 1.5. Then I'll make a cross mark. So I'm just going to be sewing now. I'll place it here. So I'm just going to sew a boss shape on it. So I'll clip it before sewing so that it can stay. So remove these other things so we can sew now. Okay, Mama, she just the thread is always coming out. Sorry for that. So let me quickly fix the thread. So to fix the thread, see the way I'm fixing the thread. beginner, so this project is for you. So see, I'm passing the thread through this place, okay? Then this detection, I'm going to pass the thread through detection, and they say, oh yeah, this one, yeah, I'll take it up. That will kind of increase the tension. You always move it up. So I just pass the thread through the hole here. Okay, it comes out. Okay, let me pass the thread again. It's getting tangled. So I'll pass the thread through the hole. Okay, then I will move it down. Okay, I'm going to move it down, then pass it through this place and pass it through the hole, the eye of my needle, from the outside to the inside. Okay, then I'll bring it back. Okay, so now let's sew. A very quick project. So I'm just going to be sewing a boss shape on it. Remember the mark we made, it must not exceed that mark. So I'll start from here. Then I'm not back stitching yet. So I'm sewing a boss shape. Just basically a boss shape on the previous stitch. Make sure you are sewing on the previous stitch so you can get a neat work. Okay, so on the previous stitch, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just sewing on the previous stitch, then I will sew again to complete it. And I'm just going to, and I'm just going to back stitch. I'm just going to back stitch. It has not gotten to the stitch. Okay, and I'm back stitch. I want my work to be very neat, so I'm just doing the right thing. So I sewed on the previous stitch. Remember we've top stitch here before, so I'm sewing on the same stitch there. So I'm back stitch. So I'm just going to do the second one. Before that, I'm going to burn off the excess thread here. Always make sure you burn to get neat work, please. Especially when you are selling to customer, it will kind of bring, they will make reference, like they will refer you to more people when your work is very neat. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. Make sure your hand is not twisted. You see, I'm trying to ensure it's not twisted. Don't go and do it like this. So you make sure it's not twisted. So I'm just going to follow that mark that we made. So I will sew, I will clip it first. So we're almost getting there, guys. We're almost through. It's a very, I promise you guys, try it at home, and I will want to see your results when you try it. It's a very, very simple project. So I'm just going to sew now. I'm sewing on the previous stitch. I'm sewing on the previous stitch to get, don't sew two lines of stitch. You can sew that anyway, but I prefer to sew on the previous stitch. So you can see I'm just using my hand. I'm not hurrying over it. I just want to get very neat work. Okay, now turn. All right. I'm just sewing on that previous stitch. Make sure you sew on that stitch. Okay. All right. Enough. Okay, my tray just getting stuck here. Sorry guys for the delay. I really want this project to be quick. I don't know, this thread is always getting stuck there. It's on the floor. The thread is on the floor of the machine. So I'm going to back stitch now. Okay, I'll turn and cut. Can you see how simple the project is? After this we are through, guys. Very simple and quick, and you can even make money from this project too. You can do many of these bags and sell them. as a shopping bag, as a tote bag, also a souvenir bag. Okay, so I'm just going to, you can see the hand, we fixed the hand. I'm just going to do the second one using the same process. Sorry, I'm coming. Using the same process. So I'm just going to sew. I'm doing live, I can't leave. I'm doing live video, I cannot leave now. You cannot? I'm doing live. Just give me some time. So I'm just. Auntie, can you come back later, please? Yeah, come. So guys, sorry, I just have a customer here. So I'll just take a measurement of 1.5 inch. I'll take 1.5 inch now, just the same way we did. Guys, we are almost through. Okay, after sewing this hand to it, that will be all. So I'll just quickly sew the hand, so we'll put it back together. So make sure your hand is not twisted, as I always say. So I'm just going to sew a boss kind of stitch on it, following its previous stitch. Okay, so I'll sew. So I'm following that previous stitch to get a very neat work, guys. So make sure you follow it's not on it. I still have to sew a bit down. Okay, so I will turn. Okay, so I'm just making sure I'm sewing on the previous stitch, so I can get a very neat work. Guys, we are almost through, please. So I'll back stitch, then I'll sew the last one, which is the hand, second hand. First of all, I'm going to trim off the thread and burn. Always make sure you burn your thread, just to get good and neat work. So I'll make sure the back too is very neat. And I'll take my fire lights, I will burn. That's what I do with my bags, and my customer will always say my works are very neat. So I'm going to do the last one. Yeah, and make sure your hand is not twisted. Make sure the handle is not twisted. Okay, make sure it's not twisted. So I'll check out and see that it's not twisted. So then I'll place it here, and you can clip. So I'll just bring my thread out so that it does not go inside and you not start having issue with it. So I'll sew on the previous stitch. So you can back stitch first. So I'll follow that previous stitch, guys. So I'm just making sure I follow the stitch that we made on the handle before. That's what I'm following, so that I get a neat work. Remember, we made a line, a mark on it before. Okay, I'll bring it up a bit. There you sew. This is almost the last stage. Okay, it's a very simple bag to do, as I always say. Then I will just a back stitch. Okay, and okay, guys, the last one is, I'm just going to turn like this. Okay, last one. So when I turn like this, guys, you're going to sew from here to here, and it's small, need small. Yes, then here to here. So guys, we're almost through. Very, very true. Just make sure you stay to the end of it. So the last stage is sewing from here to here and here to here. Then you turn it inside out, then you get your bag. So let's sew now. So I'll back stitch. stitch. Then I'll quickly cut this. Actually, I have a client waiting for me outside, so I'm just quickly doing this so I can tell to her. So the last stage, we're almost through. So let me go so. Okay. Yeah, that is it. Now time to turn the bag inside out so you see the end product. You can burn before you turn out. I'm not going to do that. So let's turn out. I'm actually sweaty right now. So the fan is not on. So let's just turn out. It's a quick project, like a souvenir bag. Okay, a very quick project. Okay. So you poke out the corners. Poke out the corners. If you have something to poke it out. Can you see how it's looking? Like, I see. Like it's having sides. Can you see how beautiful it is? Like it has sides now. Did we put side? No, there's no side. But we actually make it in a way that it comes out as though it's having side on it. Okay. So this one, you just put them inside. If you cannot poke it out, let's see. So beautiful. See? So this is our bag. Let me cut it now. This is the bag. This is the inside. Okay, and this is the handle. It's very fine, guys. Very fine. Let me try and put things inside so the way it turns out. So it's a very quick bag anyway that you can make. Okay, so you can see it's where it's having side. Okay, all right. So if you like this bag, make sure you give me a thumbs up and make sure you make something like that to show me. Show me. You can send it to my WhatsApp page or to my Instagram page. All right. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you have not, and have a nice time. I'm just going to go off now. Bye.